Hi, Pinky.
Hello, Makosi.
Hi, Precious. I was just telling them that I met you on the week of your birthday,
Oh, yes. And we celebrated. I'm so
and
glad
you
we
were so
celebrated.
gracious.
Oh, as were you, Makosi, as always. It's such a pleasure watching you, seeing you, and you doing your thing. It's amazing. You're phenomenal.
Your blog on purpose, we're going to talk about that, but I just need to introduce you to our viewers.
Sure.
I keep saying in 19. In 2019, Pinky launched What Women Want. And really, when I saw the title, What Women Want, I wasn't too sure what to expect. And it's a community that gets together to empower each other by having relevant and real conversations on topics such as business, family and friends, finance management, and more. What Women Want has held over 40 live events, which usually receive 50 to 100 guests per show, and that's amazing, Vicky.
So actually, the last few ones that we had, which were earlier this year, we had over 250 women showing up. And it was just, I mean, that's what I miss. I miss that energy, the live audience.
And I think you also missed to give because I listened to your Purpose podcast.
Yeah.
That is deep.
Yeah.
Can you just break down what purpose is in your perception?
Wow. So purpose is a calling, it's all about who we are. And I did this recently for my one of the videos that I did on YouTube is how to find your purpose. Because right now we've all been shoved. And are you there, Makosi? I lost you for a second. Are you there?
Okay, I'm
Are you
here.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, sort of using this time to reflect and find who we are, which is essentially, when you find your purpose, you find your alignment and you find your reason to bounce out of bed in the morning. And it's not easy. It's not like it's gonna, hit you over the head tomorrow morning and you'd be like, aha, light bulb moment. No, it's a journey. You have to actually purposefully look for your purpose.
Is it do you think it's a difficult journey to discover purpose? Do you find purpose or do you discover it?
I think you have to look for your purpose, and your purpose can continue to evolve as much as you continue to evolve. The way you change, your perceptions change, your values change, so you are able to continuously work on yourself in order to find a new purpose, to reinvent yourself.
So on one of your Insta lives, because I'm always on your Insta lives, and I love especially your Insta stories.
Thank you.
You talked about thoughts that were going through your head during the
Yeah.
lockdown. How has your relationship with your thoughts evolved in the last 4, 5 weeks?
I think, Makosi, you said something very profound, and this is again something that I believe that I'm always sort of doing my self-development, if you will. I'm always trying to better myself, improve myself. So I was going through a period where I felt I was grieving. And I think we've all sort of felt that because our lives have been changed. The life that was pre-corona is no longer there. So, I was talking about how we need to take control of your thoughts, of our thoughts. And you said it's not taking control of your thoughts, it's observing your thoughts. And that is what I'm learning because all along I've been trying to, when you're trying to take control of anything, it's difficult. You're going against the grain. But I think when you observe something, you allow, you release, and you just say, okay, that was an interesting thing, and I let go. So
Right.
that was pretty interesting the way you brought that up. That was an eye opener.
Well, they say the average person has about an average of 70,000 thoughts a day.
Can you imagine?
So if you have 70,000 thoughts a day, does it make sense for you to dwell on all of them? In my hallucination, I observe all of them. The thought comes, I say, oh, okay, thank you. Next. Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Thank you. Next. But what I do the most is the thoughts that make me spend a little more time on them. I then go within and ask myself, what is it that is in me that is pulled to this particular thought? Do I need to interrupt the thought, or do I need to eliminate the thought? The process of interrupting the thought is almost the process of um, reprogramming your subconscious mind. To say, when you start thinking, let's say, I'll give you an example of interruption. When you start thinking, I am not enough.
Yeah.
Interruption is I tell myself what I am, but I am beautiful. I am divine. I am caring. My word is my bond, my this, my that. And I literally spiral on what it is that I am that counters or that interrupts that other thought. So it's not just in just observing them and then letting them go. There are some thoughts that you observe and it won't shift. So when the thoughts that I observe and they don't shift, I write them down. Because your mind has a lot of characters in it. Okay? You have an inner critic. That one that comes and tells you that the one that comes and tells you that, you're not good enough. The one that comes and tells you that you stand in front of the mirror. Yes,
And I'm like,
the inner critic.
shut up.
And then there's the warrior, the one
Yeah.
that just worries.
Mm-hmm.
But the easiest one to deal with is the warrior, because the warrior lives in the future. And the warrior usually depends on your past to have an idea of the future. So what it does, it says, this has happened in the past.
Yes,
This might just happen in the future.
exactly.
But the way to deal with the warrior is to just be present. Like right now, I'm having a conversation with Pinky. I am 100% here.
Yes.
And when you're 100% present, the warrior has no room in your
Yeah.
head. The warrior has to move out. The warrior only lives in the head of someone who lives either in the future or in the past.
Yeah. I completely agree. And I think our thoughts are so powerful, Makosi, like you were saying. So the warrior is somebody who, based on past experiences, sort of tries to predict the future. And that's also something, that's why I said you need to hone that woman in, because she can get carried away. And then you can find yourself spiraling into a different state of emotions. Um, I like the fact that this one, I call her a bee, because I use the B word on her, but she likes to criticize a lot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she's very harsh. And I often ask ourselves, myself rather, I often ask myself, would would I use these words on anyone else? Would I say this even to somebody I don't like? No, I think we're very harsh on ourselves, especially with our thoughts. And like you said, 70,000 thoughts a day. So those are a lot. And I like the fact that you can interrupt your thoughts, because that is very important as well. The minute you feel like you're going down something dark or something that you won't like, it's good to sort of say, hey, 1 second, and reaffirm, like you said, there's this thing about body positivity. So if you feel like you need to lose 5 kilos, but if you focus on that all the time, you make yourself miserable. But if you look at the fact that you may have nice eyes or beautiful hair, or like you said, my word is my bond, those are the things that you focus on, and you change the way you've started thinking. There is a theory that if you think about something for 17 seconds, they've actually even timed it, 17 seconds, you can now build momentum onto the 17 seconds. And that's where you can, so if you're either thinking positive or negative, which is why you're always, it's always better to think positive. If you've thought
Positive.
enough of it for about 17 seconds, you now go into the next thought about it. And this is where manifestation occurs, because now you're feeling into your thoughts. You've actually sat there long enough to be able to feel into your thoughts and now start drawing in whatever experience you're feeling into.
Wow. Like, if you think about something post 17 seconds, you start feeling into your thoughts, and that's where manifestation starts happening.
Absolutely.
Like, wowza, though. Like, that for me is like,
Yeah.
mind blowing.
So you can
Where
imagine.
do our thoughts, but Pinky, can I ask you something? Where do
Sure.
our thoughts come from?
Our thoughts, I feel they come from a lot of external things. So right now we're consuming a lot of things that are new normal is something that we've heard so much about, so that now becomes a thought. We're consuming it from social media, from mainstream media, from friends, from WhatsApp. But then, of course, like we said, our thoughts also come from our experiences,
Right.
the past. But we also have thoughts that are in our imagination. And because we say it's in our imagination, we tend to sort of negate it. It's like, nah, that's my imagination.
Yeah.
That's my imagination. But if you look at children have always been encouraged to be in their imagination, because that's where great things happen. So as adults, adults have been conditioned to say imagination is not reality. So it should remain in imagination and don't focus too much on that. But I think that's where we're getting lost.
You said something, you mentioned the new normal.
Yeah, I hate that term. Ugh. It's just, yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about your relationship with that term?
So the reason I don't like it, I'll give you a little bit of backstory with me. Is my mom had a stroke 4 years ago. It was a major stroke. So she lost her movement on her right side, and she's aphasic. So that means she cannot speak. And when she was in hospital, the doctors kept saying to me, she'll be fine, but it will be a new normal. And I was just like, I don't understand that. I don't want to know it. And I don't, but lo and behold, here we are 4 years later, and we are in a new normal where we have accepted what life is.
Right. Okay, that's
Yeah.
How is mom at the moment?
Mom is completely bored sitting at home because she lives with her caregiver. Otherwise, every day she was out. We'd send her for a movie or an art class or therapy. But now she's stuck at home, so she's bored.
Oh wow! But are you allowed to visit her? What are the lockdown measures in Kenya?
So in Kenya, we are on curfew, which means we're not allowed out between 7 p.m. and 5 a.m. We have restricted movement in the sense if you don't need to go out, don't go out. There are a lot of people working from home, but I do make it a point to go and see her because she's my mama.
She's mom, exactly. And how are you finding working at home?
So I'm an extrovert, right? I love being out and about. And I love dressing up. So when Makosi is like, let's do a conversation, I'm like, makeup. I can wear makeup. I can wear jewelry. So working from home for me, I mean, it's different. It's nice not to have to rush anywhere.
Right.
But that was the thrill of being who I was rather than saying who I am. Because now it's something new.
Like I
miss it.
You don't have to rush any. You miss it.
I do, but you again, just I can't fight what is by saying, oh, yeah, you just accept it and say, all right, now I'll hang out with Makosi online.
And look at us.
To go for.
Exactly. Opposed to going for a drink, we can have a drink online.
Yes. Absolutely.
So with what women want, huh? Yes.
I said, let me get mine. It was a pen holder a second ago, but I have a drink now.
So with What Women Want, did you have a live event coming up
So
that you had to cancel because of COVID?
Absolutely. We had monthly events, and we had great turnout, great feedback, great support. So we had to, I was also doing some personal branding courses that we had to just
Put on
cancel.
hold.
Yeah.
Would you consider doing a What Women Want event on Zoom?
I've actually thought about it. We do a What Women Want online, whereby, so What Women Want initially was 5 panelists with a live audience. So what
Right.
the version online looks like right now, it's one guest, and it's a conversation mostly on mental health, because I really feel that's something we need to focus on, especially with what's going on in the world. I would consider doing it on Zoom, but you know, my only problem is this whole Wi-Fi and people getting stuck halfway. Buffering. But yes, I'm not going to rule it out, because why not? Anything is possible.
Right.
Yeah.
It was so nice to talk to you about thoughts. It was nice to hear about the 17 minutes, which turns to feelings and manifestation.
Yeah.
For me, okay, I'll give you a little bit of a backstory. When I moved to England when I was 17,
yeah,
I went to class, you know, the first day, and the lecturer, tutor, started asking us what health is important to us. And I found that most of the Africans, I think it was about 5 of us in the class, most of the Africans, our physical health was really important to us. Like if anything happened to our physical health, you know. And I found that most of the Western students, they were big on mental health.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I was only 17, and I'm like, what's with these people and mental health? You know, because because in Africa, mental health is not really, we haven't really tapped into. Do you get my point? We really haven't tapped into, like, I grew up with a depressed aunt, and we never knew she was depressed. We just thought grumpy pants. This one is always grumpy. You go to her house, she doesn't want to eat, she doesn't want to do this, you know. But when I look back now, especially with my battle with cancer, I find that my mental health is really important. Like, I need this to work well before this even starts working well.
Absolutely. And you're so right, because if we're not okay over here, we can't be okay anywhere else.
Yeah.
And this, you know, especially, I was watching a series where there's an Indian lady who goes to see a therapist, and the therapist is American, and she says, you know, have you come for yourself or for your daughter? And she says, no, therapy is only for white people. Which but you see, that's the perception. However, the more we normalize this conversation on mental health, the more we'll be able to say it is okay to not be okay, no matter where you are in the world. And, you know, we have this thing where, especially while living in Africa, we have to be, you know, and when it comes to men's mental health, they cannot not be okay. Our men have to be okay all the time. And unfortunately, the reality is that mental fitness in Africa especially is not been taken seriously. However, we are now having conversations, which is a good sign that we're ready.
I think so.
To talk about this. And you know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So
are you serious?
Great segue, yes, into the month of May. You know, you talk about it on your platforms. I'll talk about it mine. Let's make this such a normal conversation that going to see a therapist is not a, you know, it's not a race thing. It's fine. You can have a therapist.
It's actually a thing. Exactly. Like I thought to myself, how I even got into life coaching is I needed someone to help me arrange what was happening in my mind. And I hired a coach, and literally the guy worked on me as a client, And then, you know, at the end of him working on me as a client, and when I saw what he did, what the impact of my sessions with him, what the impact had on me, I thought I would love to do this. I would love
Yes.
to do this, and
And
I'd love to take this to Africa, you know,
yeah,
because people, I think when people hear life coach, they think, oh, somebody who's going to help me make money or whatever, but
yeah.
far from it.
You
Far
know
from
that
it.
that's the one of the reasons that I started What Women Want is it's a free platform for everybody who comes to it. I wanted just to empower and enlighten women on facts, on what's available to them, because I feel once you are empowered, you're able to not only, you know, better your life, but better the life of people around you. And you know, again, when you're talking about life coaching, what we have so many amazing life coaches in Kenya, and I've had them on the panel, but now it's exposing what they do, and what's available to everybody, you know, within the country. And I think it's just information. It's spreading information that's very important.
So before we go, though,
Yes.
when I met you,
Yeah,
you told me your age.
I know.
I didn't
Because
believe
I
it.
just turned it. I was like, I need to tell.
I did not believe it. How do you keep in such great shape?
Okay, first of all, let me just say something. When a black person tell me, and I please don't forgive me for saying white people and black people, but when a black person tells me that I look great for my age, you have no right, because black don't crack. Okay? You guys look amazing all the time. I'm 44 years old, and I think this is just genetics, or I drink a lot of water. There's nothing specific that I do, and I'm really not hiding anything. But really, I mean, black don't crack. So you guys should be sharing your secrets.
You're right about that. But you know, after we'd finished having our birthday drink and he had to rush off for another meeting, I thought,
Yes.
let me follow this girl and really get to know what she's about, because she has a secret. I don't know what the secret is, but she got one. And when I started following you, I fell in love with your mind pattern. I fell in love with like how you deliver, how, because you know you can't give what you don't have inside. So the I know sometimes we find a quote in a book and then we go and just copy and paste it. But
Mhm.
then when you go through your whole page, especially your Insta stories, what hooked me was the conversation with God calling or something. What
Oh
was that
yeah, the
book?
book. Yes, somewhere here.
Yeah, that book.
It's a powerful
And
book.
you
Yeah.
were so gracious with it. I'm like, that's why this girl is youthful. Like whatever it is that she's feeding on is more than food. So thank you so much for coming on to inspire people. And
Makosi,
thank
that's so
you.
kind of you. Thank you as well.
And I can't wait to sit on the panel of What Women Want. I'm inviting
I
myself.
I can't wait to have you. Like, honestly, you need to be there. Yes, definitely. If it's not physically, we shall do it on Zoom.
Virtually,
Let's work on
exactly.
it.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much for doing this. Have a lovely
Thank
day.
you.
And enjoy
And
your
you.
flowers from Mount Kilimanjaro. Where was that? Mount
Mount
Kenya?
Kenya. Aren't they stunning?
They're beautiful. And how do you get people from Mount Kenya to send you like their whole garden?
Oh, you know, I'm just blessed. Let me tell you that. I'm very
That's true.
grateful.
Yes, that is so true. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for coming on. I love you.
Love you. Thank you. Enjoy and keep doing what you do.
Thank you. So, guys, that is Pinky. Met her in Kenya. I'm so privileged to meet so many amazing women every time I travel. Like when I go to, especially when I'm in my country of residence, the UAE, I know such amazing people. I can mention their names: Aisha, Afra, Latifa, Shamza. But you know, we can't share their faces on, you know, on social platforms. But I just meet angels. God just sends angels to me my way, and I'm just really, really grateful. I was sharing this on Facebook that I have this little writing on my okay, forget my nails, on my desk, which says you have a great future. You know, with Pinky, we were talking about thoughts. It's really important for you to surround yourself with things that condition your thoughts. So everywhere I go, I have reminders, little reminders that interrupt my thoughts. Because if you know, if any of you were following me last week, I had a health scare. I still have a health scare because I have the lump in my hand. And you know, being alone and just thinking about things like that can be can be mentally draining. So I have these things that just remind me that, you know what, at the end of the day, life is good. Like, I have this book that I read before I go to bed, Mind Power: Change Your Thinking to Change Your Life. And you know, on this particular page, it says, "Don't believe everything you think." So that's one of the things I like to what's the word? I like to play around with my mind. I like to know why I think the way I think. I like to know why I react to things the way I react to things. I like to know why I respond to things the way I respond to things. And I take that into, you know, my coaching sessions. Yeah, so if you're out there and you want to try out a coach who will fit you out, and you know, a fantastic looking one at it, you know, I just, you know, give me a tinkle. I know some coaches in Kenya. I know coaches in Abu Dhabi. I know coaches in Paris. I know coaches in Morocco. I'm literally part of a community, especially with people that I did my master coach with, that I can hook you up with. Is that Steve Harris, guys? Oh my God. So I would love to have, you know what? I'm going to say this here because I don't want him to say no. I would love to have Steve Harris on one of my Insta lives. So Steve, type yes if you see this, and then we will hold you down to your word. Tomorrow, guys, I have a surprise guest for you. So tomorrow is the 1st of May. As okay, going back, as Pinky said, May is Mental Health Month. And we literally, this is a great segue into May. Today we were talking about thoughts, and we mentioned things like, it's okay not to be okay. I'll pretend I didn't see it. Oh my God, Steve. So we were talking about how it's okay not to be okay. And if you're not okay and you want help to process your thoughts and to process what is happening with you, to you, within you, you know, buzz a coach. And you know, I'm not saying buzz me. Like, I am one of Africa's best coaches, so you can come to me. And why I say I'm one of Africa's best coaches is I think I've overcome so much that my coaching is not just theory. My coaching is literally coming from somewhere deeper than my coaching Bible that I hold before you, if any of my clients are listening when I'm coaching. Yeah, so May is Mental Health Month. Feel your thoughts. Don't ignore them. It doesn't make sense to say, oh, I'm going to ignore it. Like, observe them. And you know, ask yourself, why does this particular thought keep showing up?